Volta a la Comunitat Valenciana preview
Nice name.
with the one and only Oliver Naesen. Oliver, welcome.
Thanks.
How are you?
Good. Happy to start racing on Wednesday finally, after a long and cold winter.
Yeah, although you've had some time over in Spain already, yeah?
Yeah, I've seen the first snow in 34 years apparently, so yeah, it was quite special.
You Belgians are bad luck, clearly. Obviously, you've moved teams now, so you've moved from I Am Cycling to AG2R. How has the first training camps been? Is it a good team?
Yeah, for sure it's a good team, but it's a little bit different. Like last year, I Am was, we never had a really big leader anywhere, but this team is like a pure GC team until now. But remember, it's clearly his team. You know, he's for sure the most important rider in the team. But they want to invest in the classics. That's why they took in Stan Vandenberg and me. And so far it's been good. Everyone was nice. Training camp was nice. Happy.
Looking back at 2016, it was a sensational year for you. You ended it in quite incredible form. You won Pluie. You were second in Eneco Tour. Looking back at 2016, what do you think?
Just super happy in the moment, I didn't really realize I was going so good. Of course, I felt I was strong and results were always nice. But it's super strange. In the moment, you never realize you're going so well. It's only afterwards in the winter, after some holidays, some little bit of everything, when you restart on the bike, then suddenly you realize, oh shit, maybe I was pretty good in the end of last season. Now everything, when it's going good, you get used to it so fast, and then when you have to start from zero, it's really a big difference.
I mean, you seem to you started the season well. You know, you were good in the early classics, but the end of the season you seemed to become almost a different rider. You seemed so much stronger. Do you think that was the case? Was there a point where you thought, I'm going really good?
Yeah, of course. Since after the tour, every race I did was going a lot better than expected. I did all the big one-day World Tour races, and a lot of them should have been too hard for me. Like, name them, most of them actually. When I was in these races, I always felt so much stronger than normally. I think it's maybe because I did the Tour de France, and I was just from one moment to the next, I was a different rider. So.
Many riders mention their first Grand Tour as a kind of turning point. Explain to me, why did it make such a difference?
I don't know. Actually, we were used to big training loads and big stress to the body with all the normal races and the 1 week races and everything. But a 3 week race is really something different. In a normal race, at the end of the week you're pretty dead, but then you're looking forward to going home in 1 or 2 days. But in a Grand Tour, it's like you have 1 day of resting after a week, and then you just start over. And I think somehow the body adapts to it, or goes in some sort of, I don't know, crisis mode, and it somehow adapts a lot quicker. And I think for some riders it's really good, for some riders it's bad, and for me it was super good.
I'll take you back to Pluie. Obviously, your breakthrough win. Yourself and Betty all were clear. I was looking back. I watched back the race. At what point did you think we are going to stay away?
I clearly remember the point where I knew I'm going to win. I was going into the final lap. And just when the bells were ringing, I heard we had like 1 minute and 20 seconds or something, and the lap was with a lot of corners, some small downhills, a little bit up and down, so they could never see us really. And I just felt I was going really strong. Also, Oli was also going really strong. When I pulled 500 meters, he pulled 600 meters. Then I pulled 700 meters. It was just like, a little bit dick measuring contest almost. I was riding 50. He started riding 51. I started riding 52. It was all the time like this. And going in the last lap, I was was sure to stay in the front for starters and to win it. I tried to be sure always before. Of course, I wasn't sure at the moment because I didn't really know him. I only knew he was second or third in Poland, so I know he was a strong rider and certainly with his young age. But going in the last lap.
Obviously, it was two man, so you wouldn't want to be left on the front leading out the sprint. You were the clever one. You managed to let him do that job. How many kilometres out did you start thinking about that, or is that just luck?
Sometimes it's just luck. You have to feel out your opponent. Like how good can he support the stress? I was gonna ride until the last K, sure, full gas, and then I looked back. I didn't see the bunch. I heard already sometimes in my ear, they told me, "You're going for the win. It's certain. You're not coming back anymore." And since I didn't see the bunch, I could just wait. I mean, obviously, if they had come too close, I would have tried something else like attack or I don't know what. But since he stayed, he held his good speed, Petiol. I didn't have to do anything anymore, so for me it was perfect.
And then your other kind of noticeable performance was in the Eneco Tour, second overall, so close to the win on the Muir stage in terrible weather, the ideal stage for you. Obviously, you were a little bit disappointed, but proud. Technical problems here, people. Just try and get Oliver back. Hello?
Yeah, we're back.
We're back, yeah, okay. So we're talking Eneco Tour. You look back at that, you would have been happy and disappointed at the same time, I would imagine, with second place and so close to winning. Now you've had time to look back over the winter. What do you think about your performance?
Well, for myself, actually, I don't think I can be disappointed with it. In a moment, I was maybe a little bit disappointed because I thought I could win the stage. I know to win the stage, I have to drop Bolsonaro, for sure. Because there's no chance I was going to beat him on a finish like that. I mean, if you look at the guy, it's one of the biggest riders in the bunch. For sure, he was stronger than me for a finish like this. But I think I was a little bit stronger on the way. And I tried a couple of times on each climb almost. I attacked. I dropped jungles, Stutelin, almost Bolsonaro on the last climb. When I looked back, I remember his face. He was in pure pain, but he was still there. And then I knew it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if he would have dropped, I could have let Terpstra pull for stage for overall win, and I would have taken the stage. But now I just destroyed myself in trying to drop Bolsonaro, and I just went to the finish. I was dead in the final. I went from before the start. I was 20th in GC. On the finish, I was second. I mean, Sagan was third. For me, it was, I think, the best race of my life. So I gave it everything, and I don't think I can be disappointed.
Yeah.
I got a lot afterwards. I heard a lot of people saying you rode like an idiot, and you shouldn't have pulled so much. But if I would have ridden smarter, then all these guys wouldn't have been dropped. I would have been maybe second in the stage because I don't think I could have beaten Bolsonaro. I mean, the guy was 35 meters in front of me, and I would have been sixth in GC. So
it's
I think I did what I could.
Easy for people to be critical without actually living in the moment. I think you were right to try and drop him on the climb. It was your only option to try and win, and second place in Eneco is sensational. Looking forward to Valenciana, which starts on Wednesday. We begin with a fairly brutal 38 kilometre team time trial. Looking forward to that.
Actually, when I saw the profiles of the race and the parcours, I actually laughed. I started laughing a little bit because normally the first race always is a little bit. You try to unblock the engine,
Yeah.
And with a team time trial, but most of the teams having new bike sponsors or at least new bikes, not everybody having trained on them, it's going to be quite brutal. Not really looking forward to the TTT, but to the other stages, I am. There's two really hard ones, over 3,000 meters of altitude, and one criterium and another pretty nice one. So I think it's going to be a really good small tour to get the shape up a little bit to the class. Looking forward to the classics. So yeah, for sure, I'm looking forward.
Yeah, stage 2 fairly difficult as well. There's a climb 6 kilometers from the end. It's 4.4 kilometers at 3.8%, and then it looks like a fast 6k descent to town. Now you're not going obviously to threaten on GC. You're going for training and to, as you say, clear the legs. But I presume if there's an opportunity and you feel good, looking at your team, there doesn't seem to be a real GC rider going, so I presume there is opportunities for all the riders to attack if they want.
Yeah, sure. I think the objective is to go in breakaways and try to win a stage, because the big problem of AG2R is every year in May they make a little bit of classification in the newspapers which team has won how many races, and it's always AG2R on the bottom with like 1 or 0. That's what we're going to try to change this season.
Yeah.
And as you say, the second stage, the climb in the final is one that all the teams who go to the Costa Blanca on training camp, it's a little climb that everybody does almost every day. So it's a very known one. And it's not so steep, so it's pretty okay to survive. And the downhill is not so technical. So this should be a pretty interesting one for people like Van Avermaet, and or maybe me also if I'm in good shape already. This is something interesting to try.
Yeah, it looks a chance for punchers like yourself. The next stage 3, is one for the sprinters. Maybe the big mountain stage has scared off a lot of the fast men because there aren't too many here.
Nope.
Buhani, Coquard are two who clearly would want to be competing for that stage. And then stage 4 is the real test. The climb, Matthias Frank won it in the Volta at the end of last season. I think the last 2 kilometres averages near 20%.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun stage, yeah?
Yeah, for a season started, it's going to be pretty nasty.
And then the final stage, as you mentioned, is a criterium, but your new teammate, Stijn Vandenberg, won there and surprised everybody last season. Looking at it, there's a lot of classics riders here. Kwiatkowski, Greg Van Avermaet, Gilbert, Stibar, Terpstra, Van Mark, yourself, Vandenberg. Why so many classics riders?
I think normally almost everybody would have gone to Qatar, like me too, and Stan also, Van Avermaet also. Like actually all of the guys would have been in Qatar, but since they cancelled that race, the teams had to search for an alternative. And with Bessèges being always under super bad weather, the choice for Valencia I think was an easy one. That's why most of the classics riders are there.
It should be good. That second stage does present an opportunity, I think, for a lot of these riders to test their legs. Right, moving on into the star section. So we've kind of mixed it up. We've got some non-GC riders in there as well. Your one-star riders are Greg Van Avermaet, Brian Coquard and Nasser Buhani. Talk about your good friend Greg.
Well, Greg, he broke his ankle going into when he restarted his training. He broke his ankle on day 1. It was like 5th of November or something. So his winter was a little bit difficult, but he went to Spain immediately and stayed there for almost the entire winter. He lost, I think, 3 weeks of training, but from what I've heard, he trained like an animal there, and he's already in really good shape. So I put him in there because, first of all, he's one of the best riders. He's for sure the biggest name at the start line, and I think he's going to be. I think he has a really big chance to win the second day already. And also with BMC, with the team time trial, I expect him to maybe be in the leader jersey after day 2. That's why I gave him 1 star.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of big rides on Strava. 150, 160 plus most days. So clearly trying to make up for lost time. It will be interesting to see Buhani and Coquard go against each other. Coquard is yet to really kind of win big races. Buhani clearly is very, very fast. My 1 star riders, I've decided to go for Davide Formolo of Cannondale. I like the look of him for stage 4. He'll be quite far down on GC due to the team time trial. And Mikael Kwiatkowski, who didn't have the best season last year for Sky. Obviously, he won E3, which was a great result, but it didn't really go the way he would have wanted. So I shall be interested to see how he goes this year. I would think he would do better. 2 stars, you have Dan Martin and Wout Poels.
I took Wout Poels. He won last year, and also Bastogne-Liège. And I've also seen a lot of videos on the Instagram of Team Sky where he's always making fun in training, and it's always about him in training. So I think he's gonna be really, really good again, like last year. And I expect him to do big things starting this week already.
And Dan Martin, no doubt ethics will put him in a good position after the team time trial. They've got some big engines. They've got Yves Lampard, Nicky Terpstra, Stibar. So they'll be going for a big result. And Dan Martin, I think he won a stage here last year as well.
Yeah, he did.
So yeah, a good pick. I've gone for Adam Yates.
That was doubting with him also.
Not quite sure which one, Adam or Simon or both. I'll go Adam, and I'm going to kind of go for Nico Roach.
Actually, which one is it?
You cut off there. Your Wi-Fi went down. It's okay. It's back up. So I'm going for Adam Yates, and I'm also going to go for Nico Roach. We've mentioned BMC there. Obviously, world champions, team time trial. They'll put a big time gap into a lot of riders, and it'll be interesting to see if Roach can do something on that climbing stage. 3 stars. You've gone for one rider, Mr. Quintana.
I think Nairo Quintana. If you look at the start line, who's there from the big GC guys, he's actually by far the biggest of them all. He's a Grand Tour winner, and the only one of them at the starting line. So for me, for sure, he's the biggest favorite to already bring home the race.
I've gone for Quintana and the man you mentioned earlier, Wout Poels. Totally agree with Quintana. He's looking so good. Movistar always do good team time trials in Spain as well, so they won't lose too much time. So I think we can probably agree that Quintana will be the overall winner. And a good race for you would be just good feelings and...
I'm going to try to survive the second day and do a result there. And for the rest, for sure, I'm going to try to be in a nice break one day. Maybe it's smart to be in it Saturday. I don't know. Depends a little bit on the GC and you immediately feel in the races. Do they let the breakaway go on kilometer 1, or are they going to race for 1 hour? You never know, but you feel it in the beginning of the race. And if it's an easy breakaway on Saturday, it can be nice to be in there and show myself a little bit, train, get better, and yeah.
And what's next after Valenciana?
It's Oman, 1 week after.
So some nice weather, some good training, and then back for the real beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Umloop and
sure
Kuurne.
Yeah, those races are the races that keep me awake at night. When I'm in training, I'm always envisioning myself doing great things in these races. So for sure, for me, that's where it all starts for me.
And I think a lot of people are really interested and looking forward to your partnership with Vandenberg, a really well-respected rider who, his engine is almost incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a super strong rider. Last week in training camp, we were going over the classic season of 2016. We were looking at some videos, and everywhere he was pulling on the front for quick step. And the reason of his change of teams is because he's 32 years old, and he says, if I want to try to do a big result in the classics, then the time is now. Shouldn't wait anymore. That's why he came to AG2R, and with me, I think we can both start the classic season with a lot of confidence. Him, because of all the results he did before, and me with the end of the season last year in the back of my head. So I hope and I think we can do nice things in the classics. We'll have to wait and see for sure.
Yeah, and having two strong riders who should be there in the closing 10 kilometres obviously gives the team a good advantage. Yeah, well,
especially for smaller teams like AG2R, smaller classic teams.
Yeah,
only one guy, and you have to do the 8 classic races, and always aim for one guy who, like me or Stan, neither of us is going to be the favorite before any of the races, and neither of us is going to be top 10 in all of them. So if you want to be the only leader for these races, I don't think it's easy for all the classics, so it's better to have two strong cards.
Well, thank you very much for taking time out to join us tonight.
Thank you.
Best of luck in Spain. Hope it goes well. And we look forward to the real cycling season starting in Unloop and Kurna. Thank you very much, Oliver.
Sure.